friends, I'll be talking about the mapping of learning outcomes. In the morning session, in both the sections, we have talked about the various, some of the outcomes and taxonomy. So, the main thing which, uh, the outcome based education is when we are talking about the various outcomes, that is, course outcomes, program outcomes, or PSOs and POs. The main aspect is not only framing the COs, POs, or understanding them or designing the curriculum through them, but it is the attainment of these course outcomes or program outcomes. That whatever we are planning, as we have discussed yesterday, that whatever outcomes we have planned or whatever outcomes we have written, how do we see that those outcomes have been achieved or not, which is the actually philosophy of the OBE model, right? So the main thing is attainment of these outcomes. For this, uh, before we come to the attainment, which will be taken care in this tomorrow, one main thing is the mapping of these course outcomes. That is when we say in the model of OBE that the all these outcomes are interrelated to each other. the, they are not the standalone entities, whether it is PEO statements, whether it is mission statement, whether you have the various whether it is mission statements or the POs or COs, whatever we are framing, how they are related to each other, that is to be seen. When we are saying that it is interrelated, they are interconnected, and the attainment of one or is dependent on the second other one. So how they are related, that is the main issue. So before we come to that coherent part, I'll try to cover a bit of POs. Yesterday we have done. So yesterday also you had some questions on program outcomes and PSOs. So I'll try to cover first these and then we'll talk about the articulation mapping between the various learning outcomes. So as I mentioned, the program outcomes are the outcomes which are expected at the end of the program. Okay, so that is what abilities, what competencies, whether in terms of knowledge, whether in terms of skills, or any attribute of, like, you, as in the morning session we have talked about the cognitive domain, psychomotor, and affective domain, whatever the student has gained during that tenure of the program, 3 years or 4 years, what he has attained, they are termed as the program outcomes. And as I said, uh, for some programs which are governed by AICT, the program outcomes are fixed, right? But the other programs, they are not yet fixed, but because now, after this NEP 2020, now it will become mandatory for every program to be accreditized, whether it is a BCom, MCom, MSc, any program. Earlier, it was only the AICT governed technical institutes were going for the accreditation, but now every program will have to go for accreditation. So the program outcomes or these type of outcomes have to be framed for every program. So NBA, as I mentioned yesterday, because our country is signatory body of the Washington Accord, and for that case, the graduate attributes of the technical institutes are fixed. Okay, but now UGC has come up with the program outcomes for the management also. You can visit the UGC website, those who are from the management side, they can see that the program outcomes of the management are in place and they've also been standardized. And also, lately, the UGC has come up with 17 program outcomes for any degree program. And out of those 17s, you can frame, you can take, but they are the model program outcomes. which any degree program they can have. But to give you the clarity, before I come to what the POs are or how to understand those POs, any PO, when it is written, or it comprises of two main things. First thing is the PO should identify what competency has to be attained. That is, what is the expectation, at what level, what is the, or what type of competency or efficiency is expected from the students at the degree level. And the second aspect is, whatever competency you have defined, what are the performance indicators that will be helpful not only to measure but also so to see that whether the competency which is expected to be developed is developed or not, right? So two things. First thing is the competency. Like this is one example, PO3. It is design and development of solutions. That is, a student should be able to design the solution for complex engineering problems. Okay, so this is the competency. And what is the performance indicator? That he should be able to demonstrate the ability to generate the alternate solutions, generate the optimal design, or have an ability to advance an engineering design. So this is how the you have the one program outcome will comprise one or two or three competencies or single one, and every competency should be defined very categorically by the performance indicator. If you have a lab, suppose for any lab course you are doing it, so the competency will be that the student should be able to perform some or develop or design something. So design what and how, that will be your performance indicators. Okay, so it is, this is important to understand, because finally we have to see that whatever POs they have been, no doubt they have been standardized and they have been given to us, but we should be able to understand them very properly, because when we do the attainment part or the mapping part, it should be very clear that what PO is, particular PO is talking about, and what is saying all about. Okay, so this is just to give you the clarity or the information about the various program outcomes, how they are made, how they are designed, and what is expected from them, right? Okay, so one thing now which I want to bring to your notice, how many POs you people know, that how many POs are there right now, those who have gone for the uh,
Previously 12 were there, and
12,
now I think 11 is there.
yeah, very
11
right,
or
sir.
12.
Yeah, earlier they were 12, but now lately, on 10th of this month only, they had 10th of October, they had a meeting in which the POs are now, they are now 11. Oh, oh, oh. So now just
What is this
for the sake of
WK5,
information,
WK6?
is there an issue?
Yes, madam. What is this WK1 and WK4
Yeah, yeah, I'm
on?
coming to it. I'm coming to it, sir.
Okay, okay.
So for the information of all of you, uh, see, these are the same POs. I'll come to this WK. So PO1 to PO5. If you see, they are the previous same ones which was there. And now if I want to just bring to your notice, see that the PO1 to PO5, they are domain specific, at least from PO1 to PO4. That is, if I'm a graduate of computer science, so my problem analysis aptitude, my design and development of solution may be a bit different from a student who is doing BTech in, say, civil engineering or mechanical engineering. So PO1 to PO4 are a bit of domain specific, which will depend upon what is the curriculum and what the student is learning and all. Okay, and PO5 is the engineering tool, that is the appropriate tools or modern engineering tools. This is not very specific to the domain. But now, if you see the rest of the program POs, PO 6 to 11. Earlier there were 12. So the this PO 6 has been reframed by combining the earlier 5 and 6, which was engineering and the society and the environment. Now they have made it together to make it engineering and the world, where the expected competencies that the student should be able to analyze and evaluate societal and environmental aspects while solving the complex problems. Okay, so this has been done. But now my focus is from PO6 to PO11. If you see, these attributes are not domain specific. Even if a student of civil department or mechanical or architecture, it will not depend upon his technical knowledge or technical know-how, but the soft skills or as a human being. So the teamwork, you see the individual teamwork, communication skills, project management, ethics, it has nothing to do with whether he's studying computer science or electronics. It is totally looking into the 360-degree development of the student. So first five are totally technical or domain specific, whereas 6 to 11 are the individuals ones. And there is a change in the last lifelong learning, where you see earlier it was only that lifelong learning. Now it is adaptability to new emerging technologies. As in the morning, Professor Grover was mentioning that this era is totally full of disruptive technologies. As in morning, one ma'am was saying that whatever we are doing right now, after 4 5 years again it will change. Again there will be a gap between what we are teaching or learning and what the students are learning. So that is why our the OBE talks about, or PO, this POs talk about, that we have to come up or we have to frame our students learning in such a way that they are very easily adaptable to the coming technology. So even after right now, I was very comfortable in MATLAB. Okay. Then Python came. And right, Abhi, I'm just trying to figure out to learn Python, and maybe some other technology will come. Now we are talking about AR and VR. We are just putting in our syllabus, okay, let it be elective AR, VR. Till AR, VR and their labs are set, I know XR is going to come. But our learning, our style of teaching should make them self-sufficient, that whatever changes come, they are adaptable to it, and they put in some efforts to come up or to reach that level, or to understand or get the knowledge of the emerging technologies. Okay, so these are the POs. Now coming to these WKs, which was not earlier mentioned. See, actually, there was a small gap that program outcomes were given, because we took the graduate attributes from the Washington Accord as it is. And there is slight difference between what the uh, undergrad courses, how they are taught in US and all, and how they are taught in our country. So if you see, the PO1 was totally applying the knowledge of maths and this one, which was creating a bit of difference, that our undergraduate courses first make a foundation or teach them the fundamentals, and then we expect the students to apply, right? If you see in your curriculum also, we first try to build up the basics, and then we move on for the application part. Whereas in US and all, the undergrad programs are more or less flipped kind of learning, or they directly go for the application and then they go for the basics fundamentals. So now the NBA has defined this knowledge and attitude profile in terms of WK. What is the work knowledge they are going to this? So every PO is now related to some set of this WK. So if you see, this PO1 is from WK to W4, and it says that you can apply the knowledge as specified in WK to WK4. And WK1 to 4 is that a systematic theory based understanding of natural sciences, conceptually based mathematics analysis, this all. Theory, systematic theory based fundamental of engineering fundamentals. So it is just to make the things more clear more categorically simplified to talk about. Lately, I visited one institute in South, and I took this OBE sessions over there. So I saw that all the course outcomes which were designed by the teachers, they were from the Bloom's level 3. In the morning session, you have seen the Bloom's level. So first is your remembering, then it is understanding, and then it is application. So all the COs which were framed even for the first semester basic course also, it was totally from the Bloom's level 3. So I was astonished that you are not covering the Bloom's level 1 or 2 even for the first semester student or any basic course. So they said because we are not able to map COs PO1 or the CO, because all the PO start with the higher level. So to make this is the confusion which was there, or not confusion but clarity was not there. So that is why this working knowledge has been now defined. So if you see this in design and development, okay, so we are saying that the student should be able to design solutions, develop solutions, or to identify the needs for the public health, safety, zero carbon, sustainability, environment with reference to WK5. So where it requires the knowledge, i- including efficient resource uses, environment, reuse, net zero carbon, support engineering design, just to make the things more clear. But I admit in the entire NBA form, if some of you might be directly involved for NBA accreditation, so in that form, these WKs do not have any say, as a means there is no marks, though no weightage. So it is only given in the PO statements to just make it more clear and more authentic. Okay, next comes, as I was mentioning yesterday, that some of the, because as these POs are fixed, so for some programs, these POs are not able to justify the required competencies in the students after the completion of that program. So the flexibility is given to define, and that is the prerogative of the department to design their own program specific outcomes. Okay, that what is left in the POs that can be covered in the PSOs. But as I said, it cannot be 6, 8, or 4. Uh, this one only 2 to 4 PSOs, and these constraints are from NBA, like COs 4 to 6 and PSOs 2 to 4 PSOs. And it is not mandatory that every course has to have PSO. If you are writing PSO, then you have to justify why PSO is written, and it should not be covered in the predefined POs. Is it fine? So PSOs are similar on the same ground as the POs, and they have also to be in line with the PEOs or the mission statements. Fine. Now, one thing which the latest NBA, I'm talking about this because all those institutes which will be going for the accreditation from January 2025, they will have to go for the new SAR. And there are some major changes in the new SAR. So I'm just trying to cover that. No doubt, the speakers, those who are going to talk about the accreditation, they will cover it more elaborately. But in terms of the uh, outcomes, some points I want to talk about. See, the buzzword which is coming over the this all this qualification framework or national credit framework by NEP 2020, they have started talking about now competencies. Instead of only outcomes, now they are talking about the competency. That is what demonstrable characteristics the student is showing. Okay, so we are talking about OBE, and we are, it may be, I won't wonder that in year or two they may started calling it as competency based learning also, but it is similar. But what I want to bring to your notice is As per NEP, the outcomes are defining as outcomes at universal level, that is PO, when the student is out in the global level, the status, or out for the job and all. So we call them at as universal levels. PSOs or POs or PLOs, they are termed as the global level at the institute level. And the competency or the is something they are calling about macro level. I'll make the things clear. And then we have the course outcomes, which we talk about right now at the meso level. So right now our course outcomes and competency are similar, and we are talking about these are the medium level outcomes. But these course outcomes are now being divided into three micro level learning outcomes, because again there is always a misunderstanding that course outcomes, I've seen so many teachers, they're writing the course outcome as per the unit wise. If there are 5 units, make 5 course outcomes. Okay, 5 subject, 6 units, make 6 course outcomes. No, course outcomes have to talk about the competencies which the entire subject as a whole, what the student will be able to get, what he will be able to attain. That is actually the course outcomes. But yes, you can break the course outcomes into micro levels. That is your practical outcomes. That is, it is similar to the same cognitive domain, the psychomotor domain, or the affective domain. So the PRO, that is practicum outcomes. LU is learning unit outcomes, cognitive domain, unit wise, and affective domain outcomes. Because NEP categorically now wants to check the outcomes for every domain, whether it is cognitive or psychomotor or affective. So the course outcome will be for the entire subject as a whole, that what the student should, at what level the student is attaining and what he is attaining as a whole. And then it can be divided into these three categories. As in the morning we had the discussion, somebody was asking beyond the content or for the co-curricular activities, there we will have this type of those situations will be handled when we will write the course outcomes in terms of the micro level. Okay, so because so cognitive, affective, and psychomotor, I call them as the 3H. So head, one H is head, which is which is talking, we are talking about the cognitive domain, heart, and hand. So when we are saying the students, as morning Professor Grover was talking about, that we are not now only bothered about the head part. The teaching or education was first only related to this, or sometimes to hand, but now this part is also has to be taken care of by the educationist only, by the our teaching or the student, when we come to us, has to take care of this. So this I just no doubt the new SAR will come and some more changes will be expected, but major changes are this. So course outcomes, I am not going into much detail because they have already been covered in the morning. Yes, so uh, course outcomes, now it is the same thing, that any competency or any course outcome will be comprising the at 3 levels. This is the same thing. Yeah, this is very good. I have taken this picture for some. This picture was for some other, you know, purpose, but I just related it to the course outcomes and the all the learning outcomes. So I consider that these blocks are the various semesters, okay, or these year or semester, when the student is moving from one block to another, gaining some competencies at every level. How he begins with how to hold this arc. I just related it. So he's moving different sizes of blocks, different competencies he's developing, and he's learning the techniques of achieving certain outcomes. So these
Yes,
are
sir.
the course outcomes. And when he reaches the final, he is graduate. Now he is ready with every type of situation. He knows. So this last stage, he is ready. This is the program outcome. And after this, when he's ready with the bows and arrows and all competencies, he's ready to move now into the free world. This is when we start with the PEOs. So it was just in some different context, but I felt that I can relate this with COs, POs, and POs on a general lighter note. Okay, so the this has already been covered that the learning outcomes or the course outcome should be specific, should be measurable, should be attainable, result focus, and time specific. Okay, so we cannot expect that we write the course outcome for a student of first semester that okay, he will be able to design or develop something, or he will be able to analyze something that is going to higher order skills. And we cannot expect that for some one semester when the student is attending a course, or it is of one semester 6 months, then it should be attainable in that specific time. We should not expect that we write such a course outcome which is not even attainable at in 12 months or so. Yeah. So now this already I have yesterday also I talked about that all the learning outcomes are interrelated, interconnected, and the efficiency or the of one outcome affects the other outcome. So that is why we need to find out a relationship between these outcomes. So the first question is, when we are saying that these are outcomes, so how we have to document it, and how we have to demonstrate the coherence of these program curriculum. That is, if we are saying course outcome COPOs, how they are related to each other, in at or not only how, but how much they are related to each other, because we are saying a top down approach from mission to POs and POs and COs. So they are related, but what is the strength of their relation? Okay, and how each and every aspect of this OBE, every constituent, I call them as the constituents of OBE model, every constituent is related to the other constituent of the OBE model. So that is why it is of utmost important when we talk about the mapping of the all the outcomes. Okay, so the curriculum mapping or is generally after I'll talk about the various mappings which we have to do, but the first thing which you people might be doing, or okay, I'll talk about that later. So basically there are three articulation metrics. The first matrix which everyone must be doing it, that is the mapping between the course outcome and the POs. I hope everyone must be doing it, yes or no? Yeah,
Yes,
any
ma'am.
questions up till now, or should I continue? You can
Ma'am,
go
Yeah,
ahead.
continue.
yeah.
Okay, okay, I can take the questions at the end. So the first type of metrics, which everyone is doing it nowadays, and it is required for NP also, that is the course articulation metrics, which is mapping between COs and POs, or POs and POs and POs and missions. The other two metrics, second one is the program articulation metrics. This is the mapping which is between the courses of the program and program outcomes. See, as I said, right now we are doing reverse engineering. The syllabus is given to us, and we are trying to articulate the course outcomes. Or the problem is worsened for the affiliated institutes where the course outcome and the syllabus is given directly to them, and they do not have any say and they have to work on it. So, otherwise, the right way of doing the thing is we start from the right way is this one. We know the vision mission. Based on this, we should write POs. Based on POs, the POs should be written. And then based on program outcomes, now there are 11 program outcomes. On that basis, we should write first the course outcomes, say 200 outcomes. For every one program outcome, say 3 or 4 course outcomes. So when you have 200 to 250 course outcomes, then those course outcomes are actually, sequencing is done, and vertical and horizontal integration of those course outcomes is done, which results into this curriculum formulation. This is the right way of doing the thing. That starting, you have the first course outcomes, then you try to figure out that if I want these competencies to be developed in my student, then what subject should be taught to him, or what should be the contents of that subject should be taught to him. This is the right way of doing the things, but because we were not following at all, so we are doing a bit of reverse engineering, that we have the syllabi and we are trying to figure out that what outcome should be written. So as we'll as our academic fraternity will be comfortable in writing COs and framing this, then obviously we have to do the right, we have to take the right approach. Anyway, so so it is important that a mapping should be done between the program outcomes and the subjects. What courses? So if the program outcome is that the student should be able to design and develop the solutions for, say, IoT. Okay, so it means some programs which should make a student design the solutions of IoT should be introduced. So that should be sensors, that should be applications of IoT. For application of IoT, students should know the fundamentals of IoT. Then the student should know the signals and transducers. For transducers or signals, he should know the signal and system. So you see, one program outcome related to IoT has given me 4 subjects which should be taught. Am I clear? Right? And then for understanding the basics of signals and system, I should have certain knowledge of analog electronics or digital electronics, and then physics or maths. So this is how the flow of the curriculum design takes place. Okay, so which will be talked about also. So one, I'll show you the program articulation matrix. The third metrics which is very important and should be followed, and I know most of the colleges are not following, that is the course assessment plan. How these course outcomes are going to help you to for the evaluation or the assessment. So all the three I'll just uh, give brief on this. So the before we start with the different types, to show the relationship, okay, how they are related to each other, we show the strength of correlation by quantifying the correlation. And now earlier it was a general trend, but now it has become a thumb rule that if the course outcome and POs they are strongly related, highly correlated, then we indicate the number 3, and if it is moderate we indicate 2, and if it is low we indicate 1, and if it is no correlation then we indicate 0. So this has become a now generic way of representing the relation between CO and PO. So the first is the course articulation matrix. So the mapping is to be done between every component, as I said. So starting from mission statement with the POs, how they are, because we said PO should be framed keeping in mind what the mission statements are. So it means they are related to them. So the relationship between the POs and the key component of the mission statement has to be done in terms of 1, 2, or 3. Okay. Then coming down to this, the POs and okay. Then other articulation metrics is the POs and the POs as well as PSOs. So the 12 POs, the earlier ones, and the POs, they have also to be mapped on the similar lines. Okay. So, and then last, which is very important, that is the mapping of COs with the POs and PSOs. So it is not necessary that every CO will be related to all the POs or every CO will be related to all the PSOs. There can be some combinations and there can be mapping. Okay, so this is one example. Now I want your input. Is this uh, a good representation of mapping of the COs and POs? Anyone from the audience?
No, ma'am.
Why?
Madam, all POs have been mapped with the COs. How it can be possible? The technical or non-technical, all are mapped.
Yeah.
The
So this is not a right way. If you see such type of mapping, it means the information is misrepresented or it is not the right way, because it will never happen that all the POs will be having such type of relationship with all the COs. Okay, so this is not a good way of representation. What about this one? Dr. Pooja, yes, you want to say? Is this a good way of representation? I can see
it,
188
मैडम
participants,
ये
but
भी
only
सर
मैप्ड
two.
नहीं है मैडम प्रॉपर. बहुत कम मैपिंग है मैडम.
मैम ये भी प्रॉपर नहीं है कुछ तो पैरामीटर्स बिल्कुल ही जैसे पीओ 6 से लेके 12 तक बिल्कुल ही मैप नहीं हो रही किसी भी सीओ के साथ तो इट्स नॉट पॉसिबल कोई कोई पैरामीटर तो हो सकता है मैम
Yeah. So this
मैम
is
वो
also
सिक्स.
not possible in the sense कि अगर ऐसी mapping हो रही है, so it means there is some problem with the framing of COs. See, when you are writing the COs, you have to take into account what POs are there. So if COs are originating from POs, so they should be related. So it means कहीं पे CO लिखने में there is an issue कि they are not properly written or they are not covering the entire this one. और ये नहीं कि every CO, but at least for one subject, if you're writing 6 COs, any one CO, like okay, this one. How about this one?
दिस इज आई थिंक बेटर
Yeah.
It's a proper मैम.
So this one is better because even if only see PO6, only one CO is like related, okay, or PO12, okay, 2 or 3, like at least one CO is related to one PO. It cannot happen that none of the POs is being addressed or none of the COs is being addressed. So this is now how you have to draw a matrix. Just it is nothing but a visual representation of showing the correlation between the COs and POs. Just to give a clarity. Otherwise, earlier we used to write HML, high, medium, and low. But now because we have to quantify it, we have to see the attainment. So this giving the numbers to the relation is now a norm. Okay, and then PO6 is not mapped. It is, ma'am. This is one is there. Okay, so and then when we do this articulation mapping, okay, PO7 is not mapped. चलो उसको कर दो मैम, ठीक है. It's okay. So after this you have to go for the do it average part, because the when we go for the attainment part, then we have to do this mathematical calculations. So I won't go into those details, but you have to average out that what is the average correlation between all POs and COs. It becomes handy and useful when we go for the calculation of the these attainment of COs or POs. So whether it is theory class, whether it is a laboratory class, and now after NAP, even it is a seminar, even if it is a project, everything has to be written in terms of course outcome. Even the if the student is going for internship after third year, if for BTech programs, third year the students are expected to go to the industry for the internship. So for that part also, these COs are to be formulated, so that when they come back and you are marking them through whether it is a project report or viva or presentation whatsoever, the COs has to be there. And now, as I said, after NAP, even the soft skills, the assessment. See, we are doing right now two type of assessments, right? Formative and summative, right? Does anybody has another type of assessment? Only, only it is formative or summative. But now NAP is talking about another type of assessment, that is authentic assessment also, which will cater to these, these type of skills: presentation skills, communication skills. Not in terms of communication skills that we have one subject on communication. No, how he is presenting himself. If he's writing a report, not only the contents of report but how he's presenting the report. Okay, his way of communicating, his interpersonal skills, how he's behaving with his peers. And not only about this, I will digress. Now we'll talking, the NP is talking about the self peer review and self review also. So that is another story. Anyway, I won't go into that detail. So the main thing is that every aspect of the education which we are imparting has to be formulated in terms of the learning outcomes. If a student is going for a sports, then what is the
Ma'am, can
learning?
you explain little bit about the assessment, formative, summative, and authenticative little bit,
Okay.
please?
Formative assessment, to sir, which we all are doing, that is the continuous evaluation. Because earlier the evaluation, our academic system was only related to the final assessment. The entire year or entire semester, the student, whatever he must be doing, he's learning or not learning. But if he is performing at the end of the semester in 3 hours exam, जो end semester exam हम लोगों के time जैसे होता था. So if he is performing in that and he's getting good marks, whether he's learned it or not, or whatever he, however he has attained those marks, he's judged, and his intelligence level, his cognitive capabilities is judged by only that 3 hours exam. So whatever evaluation we do at the end of the semester by the final end exam, that is your summative, like you
Okay.
sum up. Formative is your continuous
Yeah,
evaluation,
there's
which we are
three
doing,
exams
yeah,
in a semester.
mid-semester quiz,
Ji.
assignments, just to take care that the learning is continuous. Even if then, so that is why the ratio is, you see, the in our times the final exam was of 100 marks.
Yes.
Okay, and it was only that marks which was responsible to give us the degree when we are getting the degree. Now it is 40 marks for continuous evaluation and 60 is for end exam,
Yes.
right?
Yes,
Earlier
ma'am.
it was 50-50, then it
Yes.
shifted to 40-60, and now NAP is talking about 60-40,
Okay.
so that the learning is checked throughout the
Continuous.
process. Okay,
Okay.
so it is going to
Thank
be
you, ma'am.
60-40. And now, and about the authentic assessment, that is the assessment of the soft skills. So how the student is behaving in the class, how the student is representing himself, the personality, the way of speaking, how he's behaving with his peers, his colleagues, or so that also will come in terms of the authentic assessment. Right now, there are no they have not come up with some document how we will do that, but it is already in NAP document which we'll be talking about. Okay,
Thank you,
so
ma'am.
okay, so coming back to this, so mapping of COs and POs of every subject, of every lab, of every activity which the student is indulged in has to be articulated and properly written. And averaging करके we can do this for entire semester. Okay. Yeah. Now, see, earlier it was the prerogative of the teacher. I used to show this slide, which now I do not include in this. That who will suggest whether it is 3 to 1? Anyone? How will you say uh, the CO1 and PO1 is correlated by level 3 and CO2 and PO4 is level 2? Is there any uh, rules? Are there any rules, or who will decide on and on what criterias? Can anybody give me this answer?
Madam, I can just guess. It is just a justification if it is highly CO1 is highly mapped with the PO1, the all activities of PO1, that sentence of framed is PO1 is mapped with CO1, then it can be 3. If it is moderate, then we can go 2. If it is slightly, then 1.
So now how will you decide it is moderate? How will you decide it is slight?
I don't know any quantification method, but
Yeah.
only
So
logic is there.
earlier it was that the teacher who was
Ma'am,
teaching or the yeah, anybody. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
ma'am,
Ma'am, we
it's
can use
based on
AICT.
the ma'am, it's based on the previous alumni's result or 3 batches of result. We can take that levels.
The mapping?
Yes, ma'am.
No, ma'am. No, no, no,
Ma'am,
no.
for mapping, we can use AICT Reform 2018 rules for the exact mapping of COs and POs.
What 2018, what AICT says about that?
Or we can use NEP
Examination,
method, madam,
examination
where
rule.
knowledge levels are defined.
No, Mr. Dr. Khalid, what the AICT talks about the mapping in 2018 Gazette?
They given the ma'am in details what are the different conditions on which we can directly correlate the
Key
COs and POs.
indicators, madam.
Yes, the
Yes,
key.
key indicators.
Yeah. So the key indicators and a proper justification has to be given. Earlier in the NBA or people, it was just okay that if I am taking that subject, suppose I am taking subject of communication system. So I feel that the CO and the PO they are mapping as 1 or 2 or 3. So I'll write it. Maybe some other teacher next year is teaching the same subject. His way of understanding the relationship between the CO and PO may not be same what I may be having, right? So now it is that a proper justification is to be given based on the what key indicators the CO and PO have. So PO1, that is why now PO1 with WK1 to 4 and any CO, just say, okay, that can be shown. Fine. So whether it is 1 or 3, it has to be given a justification so that the subjectivity is removed. Whether I am teaching or next semester any other teacher is teaching, if he understands my viewpoint, the mapping is justified, right? So you have to look into the main indicators which the CO is depicting and what the PO is expecting. Then you can show the level, and it has to be properly documented. Earlier it was not required. Now it is required that justification has to be done, right? For any correlation. So this is the program articulation matrix. The CO and PO, PO and PO, and PEOs and mission statements. All the three. The first two may not be directly, every teacher need not to do. That can be done by the head of the department or by the module coordinator or any person who is the authority. But this COPO mapping has to be done by each and every faculty member. So directly the teachers are affected by this COPO mapping. Second type of mapping is program articulation. As I said, the POs with the curriculums, with the subject areas actually. So like this I am shown for the course. This was for the diploma course, I think. So the first PO is acquire knowledge of basics. So what subjects? So it means the basics, mathematics, science, and basic engineering. So applied physics, applied maths, principle of electrical engineering, graphics, and so on. So this is the metrics or the correlation between the subjects and the program outcomes. So on the similar lines, 3 to 1, and it should be articulated. They may not be directly useful, but when we design or define the curriculum, then they become quite a handy for the vertical integration of the subjects. See, abhi to what we do, okay, first semester maths, physics on basic course, then we move further, then we basic, okay, this was basic electronics, then analog electronics, then design part. So how these subjects are put in the curriculum from first semester till eighth semester, and so the vertical movement, as well as in one semester which subject should be taught, so that what competencies are developed, that is called the horizontal sequencing. So the vertical sequencing and horizontal sequencing, in that case, these the POs and the subjects matter a lot. And the last one, which is very, very important, that is the course assessment planning. Okay, so this is actually helps a lot when we are doing the attainment part. Okay, now I'll first show you the wait. Yeah, so this one is one example of the, say, assessment. So these are the COs, statements are there. In this only POs are also mentioned. Okay, good way to represent. Now the sorry, the articulation, this mapping is that, now suppose in your college you have two exams mid semester, say, or T1 and T2 semester end semester exam. Then you have two assignment, one quiz, one practical, or some soft skills or some lab. Now, on what criteria my CO1 will be judged? That is, how will I evaluate that whether CO1 has been attained by the students or not? So what assessment tools will I be using, in how that you can keep it here, that okay, the first CO I will judge by, or I will check by two questions which I will ask in T1. No need to write the questions, but to just keep a matrix with you. So second CO2, which is related to PO2 and PO3, how will I evaluate? I'll give some assignment on this and say some presentation. Similarly, CO3 is analysis part, design part. I will ask two questions in the end semester exam and say one assignment question. Fourth is preparing a report. So I'll write it a report writing, or the lab part, or the practical part. So if such type of assessment matrix, this one, CO and assessment matrix is done beforehand by every faculty member, it will help you not only writing the question paper, right, and not only for the attainment of these COs. So when you are writing the question paper for, say, mid semester, so you know that you have to write a question of related to CO1, and you have those action verbs with which you have framed the COs. With the same action verbs, you can write the question papers also. You can frame the questions, so the student also knows, okay, I will be, my CO1 capability will be judged by the questions which I am being asked in T1. That is why the, like, question paper, now you also might be using this practice. The whenever you write the question, along with the marks, mention which CO it is catering to. So the student also know, okay, CO6 में मुझे design या analyze करना है, so I have to do this part. CO5 is through this, CO1 is through this. So this is how you can make a matrix. This is another way, that okay, 6 COs, these are the statements. So first tool here is assignment 1, 2, 3, class test, multiple choice, internal assessment. Anyway, this is any way you can just do a mapping. It's not, again, this mapping is not similar to the previous two, by that is there's no quantification, but at least it is articulation of the mapping between the COs and the assessment tools which you are going to use. Like, this is another way of representing the question paper, that marks question is this, marks is this, first CO, Bloom's level is also given, okay, third level apply, first PO, and program indicator. This may be a good representation for the teacher, but it is too lengthy for the student because he will get just confused. So this type of table can be framed by every teacher in their teaching lesson plan or the teacher file which you are making, to give a clear cut picture about the relationship between the Bloom's level, course outcomes, program outcomes, and the program indicators. So this you can similarly show. And this is another way of mapping, which by the percentage. In some colleges, we have tried this also, but it becomes very laborious, and it becomes difficult to you know do the attainment also. But we tried in some colleges this, that in terms of percentage. So like continuous is 50% weightage, final exam is 50%, so theory is 25, practical is 25. Out of this 25, the six Bloom levels, they're also divided. Okay, in theory you have to have 15% of Bloom's 1, 20%, but it is very taxing. It is we could not find very good results in this. It was too laborious activity for the calculation for every student, for every subject. So but this is just an example that how the course assessment plan can be done. If some teachers are able to do this, it would be easy for them, more elaborate. But practically, when we'll go for the attainment, then it becomes too lengthy, right? And yes, some statistical analysis the teachers can have with them, that how you have at what Bloom's level marks you have given, level 2, 3, 4. So what is the distribution of the question paper or the marks in which you have covered the high order thing, the hordes or lots. So all so this is just the crux of the um, entire mapping part, that each and every component from the Bloom's level, framing of Bloom's level, use to the course outcomes, program outcomes, then the course implementation, everything is related, and it has to be interrelated. There should be some correlation, and strength of correlation has to be defined, and uh, the interrelationship has to be defined, and that is what the program is mapping is to be done. So the administrative system which is required for implementation of OBE, there should always be a course coordinator who is teaching the subject. If a subject is being taught by a number of teachers, like some basic courses, applied maths, physics, or say programming skills, which is taught to all the students, so there the number of faculty members is more, then the module coordinator can take care of all these modalities. Coordinator for the program, that can be head of the department also, or any professor, or any person who has given this responsibility and authority. And then program assessment committee, and you have department advisory board or BOS, and IQAC, those are going for NAC. There the IQAC is must, which take cares of all these activities which is happening in the department, and not only take care but regulates also, and all the action taken, reports and what is to be done is taken care by the IQAC. So with this, I'll stop here. So, and I'm open for the questions if the participants might be having.
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
for assessment, you have said three categories. One is formative and submissive and authentic.
Yeah.
For formative, you have mentioned we can continuous evaluation of marks, it will split it into 40 marks, and the summative we can take it in as 60, whatever the ratios is depends upon the college. What
Yeah.
about the authentic, ma'am? Either how much marks we
Ma'am,
have to.
as I said, right now, see, UGC is coming up with all the points which have been highlighted in NAP 2020 one by one.
Yes, ma'am.
So right now they have not talked about the this variation in the assessment. They have just talked about the authentic assessment, which will cater to the students, the soft skills or the affective domain. So it might be because I also studied one. I came across one document of UGC where the ratio of formative and continuous will be 60-40 now. Instead
Yes,
of 40-60, it will be 60-40. So
yes, ma'am.
might be that 40 will be formative, 40 will be summative, and 20 may be authentic. But there is no such document right now.
Oh,
But obviously, some total has to be 100.
yes, ma'am. Yes. Thank you, ma'am.
Ma'am, can a university formulate POs, or they have
No,
to stick to these POs only?
no. I said if your program is coming under AICT, then these POs are fixed. Okay, and if yours is management, then also some POs have been defined by UGC. There are on their website. But if you are BA, BCom, and all, then you can frame your POs. But for a reference, 17 POs have been defined by UGC for those programs also. You are from which college or which department you are saying that?
There is one question.
Yes, sir.
I am from University of Pune in Maharashtra,
Mm-hmm.
and in our courses, all the POs and all the COs are defined by. Hello. And it
Yes,
is
sir. Your
defined with
voice
unit
broke
wise.
in.
They have given the all COs, ma'am.
No, that is a wrong way to do, sir.
Okay.
That is not a right way to do. I know many institutes are doing the same thing. For one unit, it is introduction to C programming. So they will write the course outcome that should be the student should be able to write the programming, do the programming in C or understand the basis. No, the course outcome should not be unit wise until unless there is some outliers are there. Otherwise, course outcome has to be for the entire subject, keeping into taking into account how much is the knowledge part, what competency of knowledge, what competency of skill, and now some competency of the affective domain. But that is not for all these subjects obviously, but knowledge and skill part and catering to the entire
Okay.
subject as a whole. If you're writing for the unit wise, they are now learning unit outcomes, they are not the
Okay.
course outcomes.
But the syllabus is designed by the University of
Yeah.
Pune, and we are very difficult to that.
I know. I Yes, sir, but there is also one issue which comes across that people think that once CO has been framed, they are fixed. No. If you think and if you can justify that these COs are not right or they're not being attained properly, they need to be reframed, you can put across your BOS and you can change these COs. There is no limitation on modifying the COs.
Okay.
But I understand for the affiliated colleges, this is an issue.
Yes, ma'am.
But still there is flex. Like POs, you cannot change.
Yes, ma'am.
Even
POs are
you take
yeah.
it to your BOS, even you take it to your wherever. But COs, you have full freedom to change, and you can represent to the university also.
Okay. Thank you.
Ma'am, I have one question.
Yes, sir.
Are we moving from summative to formative type of assessments? Like all,
Yeah, the
like what I
ratio,
have
the
been seeing in the
percentage,
last,
yes, the
yeah,
percentage
last
of
five
ratio.
years, I have been seeing this that
Yeah.
we are moving from summative to formative. Like previously in schools, also, if you see, there were half yearly and annual exams only. But
Hmm.
now they have started to take class tests often, and semesters tests, and first term, second term, third term. So is it
Exactly.
a yeah,
Sir, see, I give you one very my real time example. My two of my colleagues had daughters. They studied in the same college, in the same school from the day one. They were together. Both were equally intelligent. They went through the to the same school, same teachers, same coaching class. Everything was same. Okay, but one of the girl, because there is no continuous evaluation in class 12th examination or in JE examination. So whatever the student has learned throughout 15, 16 years of his student time, he has to perform well in the 12th entrance JE exam. So one girl was not able to perform well, whether she was not mentally strong, whether she was not confident, whatever. And the other girl was able to perform very well. So the entire 12 years journey was totally devastated of one girl which could not perform in the end final exam, JE exam. Because of that, the first girl got admission into NIT and the other girl could not get into any NIT, and she went for the private college. So when she went for private college, and she was much more intelligent, okay, so the entire journey, because the other girl went to NIT, then she went to US also for her masters, and the other girl was struggling. So you see, the irrespective of whatever she has learned, how she has performed in the entire mid semester quiz whatsoever, the final journey was depicted, just decided by those 3 hours. So that is the problem with the summative evaluation. The entire year the students are, some of the students are, they are enjoying, they're not studying, they do not have their basics in place or fundamentals are, but the last 3 hours they will mug up the thing, they will simply vomit out the next day and get good marks, and they will be always considered as intelligent throughout their lives. That is why the percentage of formative assessment is increasing and summative is decreasing. You cannot judge the student's capability only by 2 or 3 hours final examination.
absolutely, ma'am. I do agree.
Yes, yes, Dr.
Ma'am,
Ramesh.
yeah. Thank you for clarifying the CO mapping, which is like a uh, dilemma for us to design the courses. But here, one thing, course assessment plan in syllabus point of view,
Yeah.
uh, 5 and level 6, especially level 6 create, that
Uh,
means UG degree point of view, final examination and even the course point of view, it is like a 0% it is mentioned. That it means that we are unable to check the createness, that means create in the course plan point of view.
no, no, you're talking about the slide which I was showing.
No, no, just I'm asking because when we are framing the question, we just use the words like evaluate, create, apply, or analyze.
Hmm.
But in general, the course assessment plan in syllabus is actually there is no create.
In syllabus, there is no create.
No,
So,
mean percentage of create in final examination, it's like a
hmm.
0% it is showing as per your like a slide. That
Sir,
it
that
means
is just an example, it's right. It is. It's not that every time it has to be like this. It is just a example for it.
okay, okay.
Yeah, it is. I have not shown that CO1 will always be T1 and CO2. No, no, no. It is just an example that you can present like this.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
Yes, Madam Shabnam Ansari.
Ma'am, actually, I am from CDUE department, Chandigarh University.
Yes,
So I have a query that how does COPO mapping differs from online education and conventional education mode?
no. How? Why? Why they should differ?
Ma'am,
Your
because the
competency which is
learners are
expected, competency which is expected from the student will not depend upon the teaching learning methodology which you are employing. Why should it differ?
okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you, ma'am.
If I am taking this OB class online or I am taking OB class in offline mode, the outcomes which I am expecting has to be same.
Okay, okay, thank you so much, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah, Dr. Mandeep.
Yes, ma'am. My question is that shouldn't COs should be uniformly distributed in the final examination? For example, in some cases, CO1 is for 5 marks, and in other cases, it is of 2 marks. So, shouldn't they be distributed uniformly?
Yeah. So it depends upon the subject. Okay, it depends upon which semester, which subject, whether it is some prior learning or it will be used further. Based on that, you frame your question paper on that how much weightage you want to give to first CO and how much weightage you want to give to CO5. That may be a subject where higher order thinking skills COs are more prominent, but you may require, okay, it is an initial subject. Let us, you are from which department, sir? Who was asking this question?
Ma'am, I am from Nutrition Department from Chandigarh University.
From
From Chandigarh University.
which department?
Ma'am, Nutrition and Dietetics, Applied Health Sciences.
Nutrition. Yeah, okay. So suppose
Yes.
you're having one subject which is a basic subject starting the human anatomy and physiology you teach, right? So there, if you think that the student should have knowledge about everything, then you can say or you can keep this that all the COs will be like having equal weightage while asking the questions. But you have, if you have some subject in third semester which is a where the more weightage is given to the higher order and only one CO you are putting on the understanding part, then you can just, you want to check only the basic competency whether the student is able to understand or not. There you can give less marks to for that CO and you can give higher marks to the other one. This is no thumb rule that every CO has to be uniformly uh, given the marks or checked. Because when you do the calculations, see, actually when you do the attainment, you talk about the weightage factor, you will see tomorrow. So you multiply the marks with the weightage. So अगर आप किसी को कम नंबर भी दे रहे हैं तो उसका उसी वेट से मल्टीप्लाई होगा, आगे उसका ज्यादा होगा, वो नहीं होगा.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
Yeah, Dr. Sanjay Kumar Sardana ji.
Yes, ma'am. I have a question to ask, ma'am. Actually, of late, UGC is promoting online and distance programs.
Yes, sir.
And that is of the concept that earn while you learn and all. And babies. So, how effective is all these exercises you do on COs and POs for a online and a distance program student?
The same questions are, see, UGC has given this notification
Mhm.
that now the online program and the conventional programs will be considered at par,
At par, yes, ma'am.
right? And even now, while you can do 2 degrees simultaneously,
Yes, ma'am.
but you cannot be physically present at two places. One you
Mhm.
can do in the offline mode, other you can do online mode. So even if that subject is online, you are doing a degree in online mode. That's what
Mhm.
I answered previously. The
Mhm.
competencies which are being developed, which are expected, the outcomes which are expected, they
Mhm.
are same whether you are doing for online or for offline.
Okay.
If I'm doing MBA online or I'm
Mhm.
doing MBA in the offline mode,
Mhm.
so what competencies as a management graduate I
Mhm.
should possess should
Mhm.
not be affected by mode. It will be affected by the teaching learning pedagogies which you may be using differently,
Mhm.
right? But COs or that should not differ, change.
Okay, another question which I want to ask is these or these CEOs, POs, whatever it is, does it really depict the competency or the attainment of a student?
Sir, actually, these are the tools basically,
Mhm, mhm,
right? In
mhm,
somehow we have to show and know whether
mhm,
the students are gaining something or learning something or not, what outcomes.
mhm,
Again, I know sometimes I get these queries that
mhm,
we are taking on an average basis. We are not checking one to one, that
mhm,
one
mhm,
student may have some competency, the others, all the
mhm,
students may not be having all the competencies, right? So
mhm, mhm.
it's just a tool to get an idea or to come up with whether the students are gaining something or not. Maybe some of them are gaining some competencies, some are gaining some, like this. So it is, they are just a tool, I would say.
And the last question I would like to ask is, when the universities are giving marks to the students,
Hmm.
do they really consider all these things? Because of late I've seen the universities are giving a lot of marks to the students.
Yeah, yeah. We have in India, we have very many loopholes.
Mhm,
Student private, because for some institutes, sadly, our
mhm,
education is a business model.
mhm,
So to attract more students
mhm,
and for their ulterior motives, uh,
mhm.
these practices are there, but they are not good practices.
Hey, so, ma'am, even the government universities are giving a lot of marks to the students.
सर वो ना एक एकेडमिक इंटीग्रिटी और
Mhm,
वो जो ह्यूमन वैल्यूज एंड एथिक्स एआईसीटी अभी सब टीचर्स को पढ़ा रहा है ना, सो
mhm,
वो होना चाहिए इस पे. वी कैन नॉट, एज आई सेड,
mhm.
देर आर लाइक ना.
Because let me tell you, when we were studying in Delhi University, basically getting above 60 was a difficult task at times,
Yes.
right? And now most of the students, any student you ask, they say 80, 85. That's a normal percentage which they're getting normal.
सर वो थोड़ा सा वे ऑफ असेसमेंट हैज आल्सो चेंज्ड.
Mhm,
हमारे टाइम में तो 8 में से 5 भी आते थे,
mhm,
right? We used to attempt any 5 out of
mhm,
8, and then it was totally subjective because
mhm,
rubrics were not defined.
mhm, mhm,
तो वो टीचर अगर मेरे मेरे मेंटल मतलब व्हाट आई एम थिंकिंग, ही इज ऑफ माय पर्सपेक्टिव, ही मे गिव out of 10 he may give 8, and if my paper goes to somebody else he will give 5. तो वो
mhm,
उस
mhm,
समय, and now you have multiple choice questions, binary questions,
mhm,
तो इसमें
mhm.
थोड़ा सा मार्क्स ज्यादा हो गया है, and
मैम
then
थोड़े
it,
थोड़े मार्क्स मैम बहुत ज्यादा आने लग गए. उससे पता क्या होता है, मैं प्रैक्टिकल बता रहा हूँ सिनेरियो क्या हो गया है. मैं अपने स्टूडेंट्स को भी देखता हूँ. बाय द टाइम दे कम टू सेकंड एंड थर्ड सेमेस्टर्स, दे हैव गॉट 1 or 2 सेमेस्टर रिजल्ट्स, और रिजल्ट्स बहुत अच्छे आते हैं. तो स्टूडेंट्स थोड़ा सा ना केयर फ्री हो जाते हैं कि भैया नंबर तो आ ही रहे हैं.
तो वो थोड़ा सा सर हमारे असेसमेंट क्राइटेरिया जो है वो थोड़ा और स्ट्रेंथन होना चाहिए. अब वो दोनों एस्पेक्ट हैं. अगर हम बात करें ज्यादा स्ट्रिक्ट, आप कह रहे हो कि 2 आते हैं तो वो केयर फ्री हो जाते हैं, और अगर 2 अगर आप कहो कि बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट कर दो, वो 2 में फेल हो जाएंगे या दे गेट लेस मार्क्स, देन दे गेट, आजकल बच्चों में 2 मिनट में तो डिप्रेशन आ जाता है, माँ बाप में और जल्दी आ जाता है, एंड
नहीं
दे आर
मैम, वो
नॉट.
डिप्रेशन को केटर करने के लिए यू कैन नॉट गिव मार्क्स ना,
No, I'm
बिकॉज
not saying, I'm not saying कि आप बांटिए मार्क्स. थोड़ा सा वो जब अगर आप मतलब थोड़ा सा फोकस ये होना चाहिए कि बच्चे, सी, प्रॉब्लम जो है ना आजकल सर हमारी लाइफस्टाइल में भी हो गई है, जो बच्चों की जो यू नो कि बच्चों की जो कैपेबिलिटी जो है ना, ये कि थोड़ी सी हार को सहने की और थोड़ी मेहनत ज्यादा करने की, वो भी कम हो गई है. डाइग्रेशंस बहुत ज्यादा हो गई हैं, और काफी सारे फैक्टर्स हैं, और दोनों के प्लस माइनस हैं सर, कि ज्यादा मार्क्स या कम मार्क्स. आप बहुत स्ट्रिक्ट भी हो जाएंगे, बच्चे फेल हो जाते हैं, दे लूज इंटरेस्ट. अब कितने
That
बच्चे
is okay, but agar at the
थोड़ा
end
सा.
of the day, at the end of the day, if the student gets very good marks, and the knowledge level is a question mark, the getting the right kind of placement becomes difficult for them.
मतलब गुड मार्क्स की बात मत करिए सर. जो गुड मार्क्स तो बच्चा अच्छे पढ़ के भी ले सकता है, मतलब
Mhm.
अनड्यू गुड मार्क्स जो बच्चे पढ़ भी नहीं रहे और
बहुत ज़्यादा number, ma'am, because I'm connected with Guru Gobind Singh Indraprastha University, Delhi. And I was sitting in at one of the institute after taking my classes at the reception, and there was a girl sitting, and she had come for a mark sheet, and she told me, "Sir, I've got 97% marks in project management, which I was teaching." So मेरे मुंह से ऐसे ही निकला, मैंने बोला, "Did I teach you so well?" 97 out of 100.
This is good way. This is
Yeah.
good way to pamper yourself. कि yes, I taught you so good.
It automatically came out. Whenever, "Did I teach you so well that you got 97 out of 100?"
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So there are lacunas. There are lacunas, no doubt.
Right, ma'am. Okay. Right.
Okay. Any other questions, or we can stop here?
Ma'am,
Yes, ma'am.
this is Dr. Shanti from Chennai.
Yes,
Ma'am, could you share the PPTs, ma'am? It was so informative. So we could refer to those PPTs, no, ma'am?
Yeah, you can send me a mail, ma'am. I'll share you.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay. So here we stop, and thank you so very much. I hope there was something we could add to your already knowledge you had, and I really appreciate your presence. Even till 4 o'clock, I can see 162 participants are there. I'm glad. So thank you so very much.
Thank you, madam. Nice teaching.
Thank you so much, sir. And see you
Thank you,
tomorrow.
ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am, so much. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.